We are going to be talking about this throughout the entire show because Britney Spears spoke for 24 minutes in court yesterday talking about her conservatorship.
Which is weird because her dad said that she could only talk for 18, and she went right over it.
That is probably very likely, to say the least. So Britney Spears is in court, and she is finally, after years of silence, speaking her truth when it comes to her dad having control over her life. So she's heading into court. Outside the court, of course, the Free Britney movement is out there.
When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Free Britney. When do we want it? Now. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. The conservatorship has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. The conservatorship has got to go. Hey, hey.
So
I don't mean to belittle it, but there's a lot of things going on in the world that we can't gather people for a protest. And the fact that somebody said, hey, you guys want to go outside the courtroom and help out Britney, and then got like 100 people to go with them, fascinates me.
If we weren't in a pandemic, I would have gone.
Seriously?
I think once you hear the details, you'll understand why. Because it's not just that. I mean, a lot of these people are Britney stans. And obviously, like, some people are blinded with love of their favorite celeb. But I think Britney fans have been seeing what's going on, the undercurrent of what's going on for a while, and what Britney just divulged. Like, it's beyond the celebrity of Britney Spears. It's a bigger issue with forced conservatorships.
You're much more mature than I am, because if it's not somebody that drove me to the airport, gave me some cash, walked my dogs for me, or is in this studio, chances are pretty good I'm not going to protest on your behalf.
Well, they were forcing her to be on Lithium, which is a very strong drug, and she felt like just a zombie on it, and that she didn't have any control over how much she was taking or when she was taking it and how long she had to take it. And the two big bombshells were that, and also the fact that she was forced to have an IUD. Mm-hmm. So she couldn't have a child if she wanted to, because they were forcing her to keep the IUD in. She admits she's lied in the past when she's told the public she's okay and happy. She goes, I've been in denial. I've been in shock. I'm traumatized. I'm not happy. I can't sleep. I'm so angry. It's insane. And I'm depressed. I cry every day. She outright said her father should be in jail for what he's done to her. And her family didn't help. She also goes on to say that she doesn't want to have to undergo another evaluation. I've met with enough people against my will. I'm done. All I want to do is own my money for this to end and for my boyfriend to drive me in his bleeping car. And I would honestly like to sue my family, to be totally honest with you, is what she said.
Yeah, I mean, everybody should have control of their life, 100%, and that's common sense here. There's just something that doesn't smell right to me here, just that there have been so many years where this has gone in front of a judge, and judges have continued to say, no, your dad's got to take care of this for you. And so there's a disconnect for me somewhere in what we heard yesterday and what's been going on the last couple of years.
Well, she said the last time she was in court, which was a couple of years ago, she had like 4 pages written out of what she wanted to say, but she didn't get to speak. She didn't get to tell them anything, that she just was able to finally tell everybody yesterday.
And lawyers on her behalf couldn't say that?
Those lawyers were hired by her conservatorship.
Oh, wow. That's jacked up.
And even the one now is court appointed. She's still not allowed to choose her own lawyer. And he advised she didn't make any of this public. They were going to keep this private, and she interrupted and was like, make this public. I want, they've basically, what's the word? Like they've capitalized on me enough. You might as well make this public too. But the thing is, you have to realize there was such retaliation. She got put on Lithium because she refused to do a dance move in one of her shows. And they had a closed door meeting for 45 minutes and then came out and called the doctor. And in the therapy meetings, because I read the whole transcript yesterday, they were saying over and over again, like, I'm getting calls that you're not cooperating and you're not doing what you're supposed to, because she said no to one dance move, and they put her on Lithium, and it impaired her so much she felt drunk and couldn't have proper conversations.
I am simply playing devil's advocate. That's all,
but
right?
You don't need to.
But I want to, because here we are again hearing just one side of things. So the story that you're telling here from Britney's side is tragic, is totally tragic. But he's kind of in a rock and a hard place also as the father, because if he tells his side, it really is like, we don't know really why he put her on Lithium. If he tells his side and details how crazy Britney might have been and why he put her on that really makes her look very bad also.
People who are that mentally unstable or incompetent or whatever, however you want to phrase it, are not able to work, do tours that gross millions, teach their entire dance staff the choreography. Everyone, she's a cash cow. Everyone was on her payroll. So if you're that like mentally
incapacitated.
and mentally ill, then you wouldn't be able to do any of that. So that's the issue, is that she's able to do that, show up for photo shoots, do like sets every night, interact with the audience, teach her dancers. She's the one teaching the dancers the moves, and yet they're saying like you're not capable of looking after yourself.
And also the other thing is too, with her kids, they were holding her kids against her. Like, if you don't abide by this conservatorship and do what we say, you're going to lose time and custody with your kids. She wants to be able to get married and have kids, and her conservatorship said, no, you can't get married and have kids. She has an IUD in her body right now that she wants removed, and the conservatorship said, no, you can't remove it. Also, there was a tour that she was forced to go on, even though she didn't want to. And that's just a handful of the things that came out in the 24 minutes she spoke to the court. Now, after all of this came out, and she was one that advocated making this public, because she's like, you've been exploiting me for years. You've made all, made me, put me in the public. So this is what's happening now. Justin Timberlake got in on the hashtag Free Britney movement that was happening, #1 trending topic yesterday. And he said no woman should ever be restricted from making decisions about her own body. And he also added that he and his wife, Jessica Biel, send their love and support.
I don't know that there's ever been a better time for this to actually happen. I mean, with the Netflix special, with the public details we now have, I think this will probably happen.
That she finally gets control of her own life again. She got tons of love on social media from other celebrities. Halsey, Courtney Love, Mariah Carey, Brandy, Sarah Jessica Parker. Like, everybody is hashtag Free Britney. Now, her father has responded since her statement in court. And his lawyer read a statement to the court saying, Mr. Spears is sorry to see his daughter suffering and in so much pain. Mr. Spears loves his daughter and misses her very much.
Does her and her father have a personal relationship at all?
They did. I mean, they were extremely tight back in the day, but not now. Like, that's definitely shifted. Because she had a reality show, and you got to see her and her dad interact with each other. And you could tell that there was a lot of love there. But somewhere along the way, something shifted, and it's now I feel like her family is just using and abusing her.
When I read this news yesterday and I read the full transcript, I was in the car with my husband, and I started shaking. I was so mad, and I was hiding my face from him because I was crying, and I felt so dumb crying over this woman I've never met. Well, actually, I have met her.
You have met her.
I have met her.
Said she liked your hair.
Yeah, it's huge.
Crying over what's happening to my best friend. And thank you, Kristen, for the introduction to Britney. I owe that all to KK. But and I think like some people don't get it. Like earlier, Bert, you spoke about not understanding, people protesting the Free Britney movement. But for me, like, she was such a cornerstone, quintessential part of my childhood. Like, she gave me confidence, and I love dance and pop music because of her. And then when you see a person like that, anybody like that, being forced to have an IUD, even though she wants to have children, being forced, like, she can't marry without the permission of her father, being forced on drugs she doesn't want to take, forced to perform and work. She mentioned working from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. 7 days a week with no breaks. And if she didn't work, then she would get her vacations taken away, get her kids taken away. If she said no, she would be put on drugs. And it's just, when you see the full scope of what she's alleging and what she's saying has happened to her, I'm glad people like Justin Timberlake are speaking out. He was silent for many years about the Janet Jackson Super Bowl controversy, and I think he's finally realizing he has a voice and he needs to use it. And he, despite their tumultuous past, he's backing her. And I think more of Hollywood needs to do that, but I think the judiciary system in California needs to get on board, because this is abuse. She is trapped in her own home with people she doesn't want in the home, and she's not allowed to live her life while other people spend her money on keeping her trapped inside her home. It's disgusting. Like, disgusting isn't even the right word. What is happening to her is cruel, vile, and inhumane.
Cassie's a big Britney Spears fan.
I have listened to her one or two of her songs.
They're best friends.
Yeah.
Forever. I like hearing all this for the first time. I didn't read it yesterday. So this is like blowing my mind, because it's not a conservatorship anymore. It's a dictatorship. Her reproductive rights are taken away. She's being forced lithium of all things. Like this, it's not good. And when I did watch that reality show with Britney Spears, like her dad always wanted to be on camera. I thought it was weird to me that he wanted so much of the celebrity, and now he's used so much of it to control her. It's gross.
If you hear any court case, and again, I'm just trying to keep a level head about it until I hear the other side, because as it stands today, like any case, if you only heard one side of a story, you would absolutely take that side. I think there could be some gray area here that we just haven't heard yet. And as a parent, I could tell you that I would probably say the same thing he did. I would not want to talk crap about my daughter in public. So my statement would probably be just as short as his, because I just wouldn't want to call out my kids. So does he get a say? And do we get to hear what his side of the whole thing is later on today?
No, I mean, that's the only statement we have from him right now. It's basically in the court's hands, and she chose to make this portion public. So I don't know what like California law, if he does say anything, if he wants to keep it tight-lipped. I don't know.
I don't need to hear from anybody that's drugging their kids. Like I don't care to hear from them.
I just wanted to read this portion. She talked for 24 minutes, giving her side of the story. And one portion had to do with her being sent away for rehab. And she goes, over the 2-week holiday, lady came into my home for 4 hours a day, sat me down and did a psych test on me. It took forever. And these are exactly Britney Spears' words from the court transcript. But I was told I had to. Then after, I got a phone call from my dad, basically saying I'd failed the test or whatever. I'm sorry, Britney, you have to listen to your doctors. They're planning to send you to a small home in Beverly Hills to do a small rehab program that we're going to make up for you. You're going to pay $60,000 a month for this. I cried on the phone for an hour, and he loved every minute of it. The control he had over someone as powerful as me, he loved the control to hurt his own daughter. 100,000%, he loved it. I packed my bags and went to that place. I worked 7 days a week, no days off, which in California, the only similar thing to this is called sex trafficking, making anyone work against their will, taking all their possessions away, credit card, cash, phone, passport, and placing them in a home where they work with the people who live with them. They all lived in the house with me, the nurses, the 24/7 security. There was one chef that came and cooked for me daily. They watched me change every day, naked, morning, noon, and night. My body, I had no privacy door for my room. I gave 8 vials of blood a week.
Wow. I mean, if all that's true, it's not even defendable. I mean, what do you say?
Go ahead, Cass.
I just don't see. It's so specific.
Yeah.
The examples, like when you read the transcript, these examples she gives are so specific. It's not like a generic, oh, they controlled me, they didn't let me have my body. Like she gives us specific examples. And that's why I'm saying, like, I don't understand how it could not be true. Like at this point, it's her testimony.
I also just, I'm not, look, and I don't want to be the one on the show today to go, I don't believe Britney, because I think everything she's saying is true. I'm just saying that we also haven't heard. I mean, if you listen to any case at all and you only heard one side of a story of any case, of course you would be influenced by that. We haven't heard him say anything. And the only thing I'm attaching today to this whole story is, as a parent, I would not defend myself either publicly against my kids. I would take all the crap and I wouldn't share my side of the story because I'm still protecting my kids. In this case, I don't know that that's...
It'd be a bad PR move. He'll lose his meal ticket if he does. He has been controlling Britney's narrative for years. He is the only side we've been hearing for years. And I just think in the beginning, I do think it was probably for her protection. And I think she probably really needed it. But she doesn't anymore. And I think things got out of control and the train was a runaway train and people started making bank off this woman and they just used her as a cash cow.
This is The Bert Show.